It's just the idea of thinking back and when, like Pearl Harbor and the invasion of Normandy, and you just kind of think about those things when it's Veterans Day.
The meaning of veteran to me is an honored title. We are labeled veterans due to our service to the military. A lot of us have defined Veterans Day as patriotism, service, and honor to this country. Veterans Day to me is about honoring the 21 million living veterans today.
I think they should look at the memorial and what it's for, and be recognized for what veterans have done in their days of being a veteran. I think they need to. The public needs to know about that. Some of us been nice, some of us been terrible. I was on a gunship, and it wasn't easy. And all that was on that ship was guns. Guns and ammunition. That was all that was on it. And the gunnery sergeant came to us when we were learning to shoot those guns, and he says to us, he said, when you guys get on that gun, you better learn how to shoot it, because if you don't, that suicide plane's gonna get you. And I've always thought about that. That suicide plane is gonna get you, and we've seen a few of them.
After my company command time was done, I was transferred over to Cedar Rapids to the battalion headquarters, and I was a battalion logistics officer. Then, about 6 months after that transfer, we were activated to go to Iraq for a year, which turned into 15 months we were gone. So I was a battalion logistics officer during that whole deployment and redeployment, and then I chose to get out after that tour. Once was enough. I can't imagine, I mean, the 15 months I was gone from my job and family was quite, somewhat of a sacrifice. But you look at, some of those veterans were gone for 3-4 years and never had a chance to come home. And for even for leave, just the amount of, and there was a draft, and there was a need for every available person to be in the military. Well, I would hope that they take time out of their day to pause and remember our veterans, and if they see a veteran on Veterans Day or any other day, to thank them for their service is always a good thing. And of course, on Veterans Day, you have it's a federal holiday, and it's a state holiday. I hope that they would, maybe go to a Veterans Day program somewhere.
My dad was in World War I. I was in World War II, and my son was in the Vietnam War in the Navy. Now this flag, I love this land, and you don't know how to appreciate it till you get out into other countries and see how they live. And there's been a lot of men die for this Stars and Stripes. We love that flag, and to look out that window there and see that flag of Stars and Stripes flying, it shakes me up. I love it. and I love this country.
I'm a fourth-generation Marine. On the other side, I had a grandfather that was in the Army, and an uncle that was in the Army, and a couple other uncles that were in the Air Force and Navy and different branches of service. But as far as me on Veterans Day, the Marine Corps is pretty instilled in me, being that fourth generation, my brother and my grandfather and my dad and my great-grandfather. So that really means a lot to myself and my family, and even to my kids. I can see it in my kids and my wife as well. And it's, obviously every November 11th, the 10th of November is the Marine Corps birthday. And we've been celebrating that for this year 241 years. So that has even more history and meaning behind it even than Veterans Day does. But it's nice to be able to have both of those days back to back and to celebrate that. But yeah, Veterans Day, growing up, my family was very strong with taking time to meet with the family, meet with friends that had served, talking over those that wanted to talk over their time in the service, what it was like for the mothers to be back at home when the husbands were away at war or training or whatever the scenario may be. I just meant a lot to hear from my relatives that had been in those different situations while I was growing up. And then for me, being a veteran myself, taking the time, I personally take the time every year on the Marine Corps birthday especially, and on Veterans Day, I call up my Army buddies and my Navy buddies and Air Force buddies, and I congratulate them, and I talk to them annually. I mean, this is every year we do this. We don't get together every year, but a lot of us try to get together every few years, but we chat, we talk, and we keep up. We make sure our families are doing okay, and the biggest thing is that we all have each other's back, even though we're out of the service. I wish there was more that we could do. I wish that at Veterans Day, to me, I like to, and I don't do it enough. I like to get out and help a veteran. I've only done that a handful of times, other than family members. But a veteran that you don't know, whether it's somebody that's on the street or somebody that needs a new roof. I'm a carpenter, so I've done that a few times, but I sure would like to do stuff like that a lot more.
I'm George Ewers. I live in Hines Hall, the Iowa Veterans Home. I'm a 92-year-old Army veteran of World War II and served in Europe in the latter part of that war. For Veterans Day this year, I would like to talk, if I may, about flags, the American flag. I'd like to read some excerpts from Priscilla Helm's News and Views publication, the September issue of that publication. Following the burning of an American flag by radical terrorists, I was asked if I had any special feelings about the flag. Does it really symbolize the unification of our nation, or is it merely a three-colored piece of cloth? At the last commemoration of the anniversary of D-Day, we, all of the attending veterans and non-veterans, were asked to recite in unison the Pledge of Allegiance. As in other occasions, I could not do it. After uttering but a few syllables, my throat tightened up with emotion, and my eyes misted over as I thought of the innumerable military coffins that flag has covered, and the hundreds of battlefields scattered around the globe over which that flag has flown. And in some cases, many cases, is still waving high, proudly waving high, as it did 240 years ago. There's no doubt as to my feelings about the flag. I love and venerate our American flag.
Well, of course, Veterans Day at the Iowa Veterans Home is a very special day because we care for so many veterans here at the Iowa Veterans Home. So it's an opportunity for us to personally say thank you to veterans and families for their service and sacrifice. The history of Veterans Day, of course, goes back to the end of World War I, when on the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour, there was a stop to World War II. A year later then, Armistice Day was named, and in 1954, finally Armistice Day was changed to Veterans Day to honor all veterans who have served in any war or period of peace in our nation's history. Veterans Day is a day to stop and just say thank you, veterans, for your service and sacrifice, and thank you, families, for the support that you have provided to your loved one who served in our military. Veterans, it doesn't matter if you served in war or peace, how many years you served, or what job you did, your service is important. I know how important your service is to Iowans because since about 1985, I've been speaking at Veterans Day programs all over the state of Iowa. And I've been to formal ceremonies like we have at the Veterans Home. I've been to elementary schools, middle schools, high schools. I've been to large cities and small towns, soup suppers, Legion clubs, Elks clubs. And so I can report to you that Iowans really are faithful about making time to stop and remember and say thank you, veterans, for your service to America. Because Iowans really know that they live in freedom today, and that freedom is because of those who defend it.